The greatest thing about him is until the time I got to study with him, math to me was a collection of concepts and capabilities that you're continuously working to get better at. And I think he made it very simple to say, hey, listen, if you don't see math in nature, in the life around you, then you're wasting your time. And to me, that was a very simple lesson because he kind of said everything that you do in math shows up in forms that is obvious around you. And if you're able to relate that, your ability to move forward and apply that thinking and learning will be very, very high. And that's I felt that was the unlock point for me when math was not something I did on my notebook, but math was something that I actually observed in everything around me.
The future of teaching. Conversation with global leaders. Powered by CENTA. What will teaching look like in 2030?
Welcome to the next episode of the Future of Teaching series, where we are in conversation with global leaders from various industry sectors, from various fields of life, to see how they see teaching over the next 10, 15, 20 years. So today we have with us a very special guest. Anant Maheshwari is the president of Microsoft India and responsible for the company's overall presence and business in the country. I think all of you would be well aware of Microsoft, so I do not need to introduce that. Anant has served across many industries in his career: technology, software, industrial, management consulting. He's also personally passionate about Microsoft's mission to empower every person and every organization on the planet to achieve more, which of course is aligned with India's inclusive growth agenda. Anant also contributes actively to the industry. He has served on NASSCOM's EC since 2017 and has recently become the chairperson of NASSCOM. Congratulations, Anant, on that. And he is also India Advisory Committee member of USIBC, National Council member of CII, and fellow of the Aspen Global Leadership Institute, among others. But coming back to special guest, the other reason why Anant is special from my point of view is that we started our careers together way back in McKinsey and Company, one batch apart. Anant was a batch senior to me, and one of the people I learned from, I looked up to one batch ahead in the firm, and I think we shared an office room, worked together on a couple of clients, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely. And so I'm just grateful to be here, Ramya. You've done some amazing work, and especially now with CENTA really blazing a new trail. So my gratitude for bringing me onto this forum.
Thank you, Anant. So this series, The Future of Teaching, tries to look at what teaching could be like in the next 10, 15, 20 years, not only in a passive manner, but also as global leaders, how can this be shaped in a certain direction? So before we get into that, I just want to dial back for a minute and ask you now, after so many achievements, after going through many significant roles, taking over Microsoft in India as the president, is there still a school teacher whom you remember fondly and whom you think of as someone who had an impact on you, someone who played a role in where you are today?
So absolutely. I think that there are many that I would remember, and there are many anecdotes that I could share. But maybe what I'll do is remember, of course, a school teacher, as you asked, but also teachers that I've seen along the road in life,
Sure.
and things that I feel that something that is relevant back into school as we think about it. So first up, I'll go to a math teacher that I had in school, in my later years in school. And one of the greatest thing about him is until the time I got to study with him, math to me was a collection of concepts and capabilities that you're continuously working to get better at. And I think he made it very simple to say, hey, listen, if you don't see math in nature, in the life around you, then you're wasting your time. And to me, that was a very simple lesson, because he kind of said everything that you do in math shows up in forms that is obvious around you. And if you're able to relate that, your ability to move forward and apply that thinking and learning will be very, very high. And that's why I felt that was the unlock point for me, when math was not something I did on my notebook, but math was something that I actually observed in everything around me. And to me, that unlock, I think that school teacher gave me, and I still thank him for it. Then
Sure.
I think the second one is really around after I'd completed my graduation. And I was doing my first job as a financial journalist. And this was the start of life in a way. And I did feel I had attained my degrees in education. And I was with this editor of the magazine, and he gave me a very simple lesson in life. And he basically said, never stop learning. And the simple trick he gave me, he said, so much is happening in the world every week. Make sure that there are at least a couple of journals, a couple of capabilities that you have a habit of to learn every week. Now, at that time, it seemed like a simple thing to do. He built that habit in me to read every week and collect thinking from around the world. And I now see it every day in life, where I look for moments where I want to feel stupid every day. So I feel that constant learning everyday attitude has happened because of that one unlock that happened in my first role, where I say now that I enjoy that moment of feeling stupid every day. Because when you get to that moment, there is this big heartbeat that happens inside and saying, I don't know. But the moment after that is so beautiful, because you know, and then you get to know, and then you learn. So that's the second unlock, I would say. And the third unlock happened more recently, nearly a decade back, with a senior leader that I was working with. And I was already in a chief executive kind of a role. And I asked this question to him as to how do you think about leadership? And he said, the trick is in the doing. There are enough smart people on the planet who may have answers to everything that can go right on the planet. But there are few who are able to translate that and make it real for many people around them, and then can bring that learning to everyone, and everybody then comes together to get something done. So if I take these three examples together, apply the learning, learn every day, and then make that learning which is common to a lot of people, so that everybody collectively comes together to get things done. If we start doing that early in life in school and practice this, I think things can be very, very different. So those are the three learnings I would bring out.
Very interesting, Anant. Very interesting. In many ways, you have already started getting into the next part of the discussion, which is when you talk about taking these learnings back in school. If I were to broaden that and ask you, so what are 2-3 big changes in education that you would visualize or you would want to see? Let me put it that way. You would want to see in the next 10-15 years.
So a few things that are happening around us. I think one, we've just all gone through this event in the last 3 years where it was a break point in education, especially after the pandemic, where people had to suddenly not be in the classroom and learn outside of the classroom in schools and colleges. It was quite a break point for teachers, for administrators, and most importantly for students. Because you suddenly are not being able to feel that collective that is very important to learn. I think that's also unlocked many different ways for us to think about education, learning. And I would say that whole process of having a lot of information available, which has been there ever since the internet came about, and information has been ubiquitous. People can access information all the time. It's an overload of information at times. But there was still this need to be in the classroom, be in that teaching zone, wherein you're then taken down a certain path, a certain curricula, a certain process to learn something. I think technology is changing around us right now, that now not only is information ubiquitous, but answers are ubiquitous. You can ask a question and you can get an answer. So to me, the fundamental thing that one will have to navigate is there are too many answers. Which answer is right? Which answer should I prioritize? Which answer is the right one? Because some answers seem right, but they may not be right. And therefore, there is a very significant element of judgment, of prioritization, of where do I look for answers and what do I trust in terms of what I'm seeing. And that to me will become a big part of learning going forward. And very early in life, we'll have to start figuring out how to apply judgment, how to apply trust very differently. And those are, I don't think, capabilities that we've spent enough and more time on, because there was an implicit trust inside the classroom with the teacher and the student. And now, when those boundaries go away, how do you manage that trust? How do you manage that prioritization? How do you manage that judgment is going to be the biggest challenge that this field will have.
Very interesting, Anant. I think that's very beautifully put, and one of the best articulations I've heard of what is going on around us. So, where do you see teachers in this? What is the role you see them playing? What is the change you expect in them?
So, if I go back to my learning days, and Ramya, you may also have some empathy with that. For me, the teacher was the specialist when I was learning, because the teacher was the source of knowledge. The teacher was the source of knowing everything when I did not know anything. So to me, it was a very clear equation that I am getting something from the teacher. I think today, increasingly, and it's not just with teaching, I'll take another profession with doctors today. Everybody who's a patient has a point of view because they've got an answer from somewhere that what needs to get done, and they're in a way judging the doctor. Hey, listen, is my answer correct? Do you have the right answer for me? And how do I work this? So to me, if I bring it back to teaching, the teachers are much more mentors and coaches today, and not just specialists. That specialization is acquired, but within that specialization, you got to change that a lot more in terms of what you do. The how is changing to a mentor and a coach, because you're then helping the person understand, here's how you judge, here's how you apply the trust factor, and so on. Here's how you can continuously learn. Going back to my example of that editor, here's how you will learn every day going forward. So how do you then learn that critical thinking and how do you practice that critical thinking? That's where I think teachers will have to continue to master that capability of transitioning from just specialists to being specialist coaches and mentors. Is the way I would define the expansion of the role of a teacher going forward. And everybody will need a coach and a mentor. There's so much happening around us. We need a coach and a mentor for nearly everything, and very different things. We'll need different coaches and mentors as we go along.
Very interesting. So Anant, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes of digression and request my colleague to bring into the screen two teachers whom we would love for you to congratulate. So in each of our episodes, we try to recognize two teachers by the global leader we are speaking with. And today we have with us Amira Mobin from Saudi Arabia and Dipali Thakur from India. So let me just give you 1 minute of their backgrounds. So Amira holds a master's in English literature and has also been certified as an IELTS Band 7 plus from London Teacher Training College. She's an English instructor with TAIF University in Saudi Arabia with more than 19 years of teaching experience. But the reason uh, she got invited out of more than like a million teachers is going back to what you said, Anant, which is that she spends a huge amount of time on her own learning. And when we track that, we on the My Center platform, and we see, oh my God, somebody who is so experienced is still spending time learning every day. And that's the reason we have invited Amira, among, of course, all her other accomplishments, to this today. And Dipali is a teacher at Delhi Public School, Pune. She is a multiple time winner of CENTA's International Teaching Professionals Olympiad and has been part of the primary tracks through multiple years, and with transition in her own role has been part of the school leadership track in the most recent year. So Anant, would leave it to you to congratulate both of them and to both of them to react.
So, Amira and Deepali, it's really my pleasure and really my privilege to hear about what you've done. You're in such a noble profession and are shaping so many lives around you. And the way you're doing it, as Ramya spoke of, inspires me to become a better version of myself. As Amira, I think I heard about how you're continuing to work at it and continue to increase your craft. So it's just wonderful to hear that. And Deepali, once again, congratulations for what you do. As Ramya just spoke of, you're continuing to raise the bar for yourself as you go along, and that's just so inspirational. My deepest congratulations to both of you in what you do.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ramya ma'am. Just couldn't have agreed more. I was listening to the conversation, how you perceive the teachers to be and how the classroom would be. And I'm actually in middle of a workshop, and we were talking about how classroom management is changing post-pandemic. And it was just a double click on all those things, how the generation is changing. Now these are tech savvy children, right? And so how teachers are not just specialists, but they are delegators and facilitators. And we are going to create, plus 10 years, they won't be the same jobs as they are now. So we can't prepare them the way we used to. So they're going to be entrepreneurs, they're going to be creators, and how our role is going to change. So yes, that's why I think, and I'm so grateful that we have such a platform there where we are able to learn and upgrade ourselves and present and network with different kind of learners all over across the globe. So yes, thank you so much for recognizing teachers across.
Wonderful to hear that.
Amira, you.
Yes, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Good morning, Dipali, sorry. First of all, I would like to thank all of you and the platform center, of course. And I feel myself privileged to talk to you people today. And as sir said, we are the mentors. We are no more like the teachers or the instructors. We have to be all around. According to me, now the education has taken a shape that we have to be all around our students, but we cannot be like always commanding the class. It should be not a teacher center, it should be a student center. And we as a mentors, we should always be around our students, guiding them, because they are getting a whole lot of knowledge from everywhere. And of course, I remember a time when I gave some work to my students, girl students in my class, and all of a sudden they started sending me the answers, and I was really shocked. And when they came to the class, they said, "Doctor, you told me this, and we got like this also." So and our role at that time is like how to satisfy our students, how to like balance them in the class, because now they are getting a whole lot of knowledge. They are not only getting the bookish knowledge, whatever we are imparting in the class, they are not getting the same knowledge, but they are getting the knowledge from all around the environment. So it is like that. It is a relation between a teacher and a taught. We have to bind a relation between me and my student, and this is for everyone, I think. Time. Whatever news
Yeah.
coming, we
No,
should
I
be
think
looking at.
very well put, Amira and Deepali, and really appreciate your thoughts, your contribution to your profession, as Anant said, and you inspire all of us every day by the work you do, the impact you have on students' lives, and the growth of your own professional lives. So thank you so much, and really appreciate your taking the time to be with us today. To our viewers, that those were two inspiring teachers, and we bring the focus back to our guest, Anant. So Anant, thank you again for inspiring our two teachers as well. Uh, let me ask you more specifically, as you're talking about the changes in the landscape and technology and so on. Microsoft is, of course, making significant investments in generative AI as a technology. And generative AI is something that is being talked about a lot, is being used by many of us in many different ways already today. With this and other technological changes coming up, what do you see as the interplay between generative AI and teachers? And do you see it replacing teachers? Do you see it helping teachers, enhancing teachers? Where do you see it on the spectrum? And in turn, what teachers will need to bring in that context?
So there's a lot of, I'm sure there's a lot of debate, a lot of views, a lot of thinking around AI and how that will shape humanity going forward. The fact that it'll have an impact is given. I think there will be a lot of impact. But not too many people can predict right now what that will be in the long run. One generic theme that I strongly believe in, and it's very relatable to our daily lives. I'll take another example again from the medical profession. If you have any issue and you want medical help, you generally think about what's the issue and which doctor should I go to. It's not just one doctor for everything. And if you've gone to a particular doctor, got some specialist guidance from there, and then you have to do some procedures and so on, you go to a different doctor, a surgeon or somebody else who will do some tests and so on. So there are specialists who provide that capability to you. Generative AI is opening up that aperture also in every profession, where I strongly believe you will have a co-pilot for everything that you do. And your co-pilot for the medical profession will be different. The co-pilot for an architect will be different. The co-pilot for somebody who's in the transportation business will be different. The co-pilot for somebody who's in the design profession or the art profession will be different. And therefore, there will be a need for different kinds of co-pilot in the teaching profession also. So that's where I think generative AI really becomes a capability that you have on your side to learn from. And can help you do your job and your profession easier and better, so that you can focus on some of the things that you may not be because of the lack of time today, or even the lack of access at
Fair enough.
And that is where I think AI is going to help transform the teaching profession, because now teachers will also have a co-pilot. Every teacher will have a co-pilot. The physics teacher will need maybe a different co-pilot than the chemistry teacher. The history teacher may need a very different co-pilot than a geography teacher. And a psychology teacher may need a very different co-pilot than an engineering teacher. So therefore, to me, very different capabilities will come in to help teachers as we go along. And this is the innovation that's going to happen as we go ahead, as AI becomes a lot more specific around different parts. To me, the customization that's then possible as learning solutions is going to be really, really powerful. So to me, that's where I think teachers will need to be aware that there is new help, new capabilities available for them to truly drive more customized learning for different kinds of students that they work with.
Great, great. And I'm very, I mean, the term co-pilot really resonates because as CENTA, one of the courses that we are running now is making Chat GPT your teaching assistant. But as you rightly said, I mean, generative AI as a co-pilot or as a teaching assistant is something that teachers will need to learn about and get comfortable with. So that totally resonates. And Anant, on a slightly different but related note, I mean, we keep talking about teachers learning various things, improving the quality of education, having impact on their students. Now, as they do all this, what do you feel are some of the global career opportunities that teachers could potentially look forward to? And I realize, you're not from the teaching field, but as a person working in a global organization, having experienced and seen a lot of global careers, if you were to take a guess or a hypothesis, what could that look like?
So I think the pandemic definitely opened up a very different avenue. When I said, hey, listen, the students did not have that classroom, the teachers also did not have that classroom. And suddenly, I, as a teacher, maybe sitting in Pune, as we saw Dipali just speak to us, and could teach somebody in Saudi Arabia, or Amira can be in Saudi Arabia, and she can teach somebody in Indonesia. And to me, just that element of space and constraints that we worked with in the past is going away. Second, to be a coach and a mentor, I think your students can be in different parts and you can have those relationships longer. I spoke of my math teacher. I've lost touch with my math teacher for a while. And then I finally got to know when he passed away, and I said I wasn't in touch with my math teacher. So it was. I think that connection to me is very important. You can have longer connections with the power of the technology that exists today over a period of time, and you can keep coming back to that coaching mentoring relationship over a period of time. So to me, as I see that whole concept of space and time has changed than the constraints that we lived with in the past. And third, I think there'll be very specific kind of innovation that's going to be happening. There'll be a lot of companies who will do deep tech innovation and would want this capability that the teachers already have. And how do you blend the human and the knowledge and coming together in a very different way, where my interface may be a screen as a student, but I know there's a human on the other side who's helping me exercise that judgment, that trust to drive things forward. So I think there's enough realms of possibility as I think about careers. But, I'm speaking here as an expert. The expert is actually sitting with me on this side, Ramya. So I'll turn that around. And I said I'm a learner for life, and I would like to learn in every moment. So I'd love to learn from your perspective. How do you see this profession of teaching evolving as you sit at that vantage point of CENTA?
So thanks for the question, Anand. So frankly, I sometimes just feel very close to it, which naturally, brings a certain bias, a certain narrowing down, and that's why I find your perspective really refreshing. Having said that, I think there are 2-3 changes that we are both seeing and playing a role in. One is a linkage between the teacher's career growth and competency in a very concrete manner. Teaching has been over time a profession where sort of you're becoming older, senior, and more or less following a certain path. And for a lot of teachers, it sometimes is demotivating if they have built a certain set of competencies and that's not getting the right tangible recognition. So a stronger relationship between competencies and careers, and we're also glad to see multiple governments taking that step, like the National Education Policy in India 2020 makes that very explicit, and so on. The second, of course, global opportunities, as you said, both through technology and to some extent physical movement. But again, global opportunities are partly getting increased because of technology. They're also partly getting increased because of better alignment on what you need as a teacher. And which sort of brings me to the third thought here, which is when I say that I'm teaching a particular curriculum in India and I'm teaching a particular curriculum in, say, Nigeria or in the US, then it may not be easy to have global mobility. But when I say that I'm trying to build critical thinking skills, I'm trying to build problem solving, I'm building communication, empathy, teamwork, and my curriculum is providing a basis to do that, global mobility becomes much easier because the competencies can be aligned at a very different level. And in our case, for example, our framework, it's sort of benchmarked against 30 countries. And that is possible because it's not curriculum specific. So those are the 2-3 high level thoughts.
No, it's amazing. And see, that's what it's a great learning moment for me right now. As you spoke about competencies and how curricula need to really, can become a barrier at times, but now we are reducing that barrier as we go forward, and it can be such an enabling force for the planet. So thank you so much for sharing that with me.
Thank you, Anant, and we really appreciate the rich set of thoughts we've got from you today. I'm sure the viewers have totally enjoyed the session, and appreciate your taking the time. If you have any parting thoughts for teachers, particularly the new ones entering the profession, over to you, and we'll close with that.
No, so first of all, huge gratitude to be here. I came in with a learning mindset into this session, and I was sure that I'll walk away with additional thoughts and learning, which has happened, especially when I heard the two teachers who joined us. And Ramya, your thoughts just now has helped me learn. And that's what I would pass on as my parting thoughts to everybody who's listening to this. I think every one of us is a teacher, whether we know it or not. Somebody is looking at us and learning something. And therefore, in that moment, how can we be both a coach and a mentor and learn ourselves as we go along? That's really the duality that all of us need to live. And I really compliment all the teachers who embody this in the best possible way. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Anant, and wonderful to have you with us today. Thank you.